sounds like something for a different. Anyway, moving on. Yeah, I think we should move on to the show. What do you think,
Luke? First of all, I just want to say I missed you. I think a lot of people in America went on vacation and did some stuff over the last couple of weeks, and it's good to be back. It's good to see your fantastic tan. And I'm ready to do the show.
You hit me with that yesterday, and after not seeing you for so long, those type of compliments from you land even harder, dude. Like after you said that, I was looking at my tan myself. I was thinking, why do I have this line up so high? Why is that? And being introspective like that or analytical about myself around you it's even better. And that's why I'm here today. I hope you had a great trip. You went up to, did you go to Boise or Nebraska?
No, close. Colorado first.
Oh, yeah.
Saw a concert at the fabled Red Rocks Theater. And then a couple days later, hopped on a plane from Colorado to Boise, Idaho, and stayed there until the 5th of July and came on back to Colorado and then immediately drove on back to Kansas.
Wow.
8 days I was gone.
Did you rule the world while you were gone?
Yes. If you can imagine that.
I heard it was Nas at Red Rocks. Is that right?
It wasn't just Nas. It was a one-time only concert specifically for Red Rocks in which the Colorado Symphony Orchestra was his band.
I forgot. Yeah.
This is not Nas and the orchestra on tour. This is one day, one orchestra, one event. And the one thing I'll say is that when you get to see an artist perform at Red Rocks who has never performed there before, you get to watch them turn into a fanboy themselves of the moment, of the grandeur of the entire situation. Like you see Nas going, my God, we got to keep doing this. This is crazy. It's overwhelming and beautiful. It was literally a bucket list type of situation. This particular venue, I would have literally saw anyone at Red Rocks, and I'm glad that I did.
First time you've been to Red Rocks?
First time I saw an actual concert there. I was lucky enough to do a little tour of it, walk up there.
Yeah.
They allow you to do that when they're not actually doing a concert that day.
I think, I've walked through there before. I've seen people on TikTok like running the stairs or running the bleachers. Kind of, can't you do that there?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Red Rocks is a really cool place, and it's a great place to hang with the homeboys, And these people here are here today to be hanging with the homeboys on the date of July 10th, it looks like.
Already?
Yeah.
Already?
Thanks for coming to join us this morning, everybody.
Yes.
We're going to hit our regular segments. We're going to go through home field advantage today. We're going to go through Homey-ology, full house party, and then our home stretch or home run or just the home plate. We'll see what happens. Yeah. That's when Neil's going to chime in with his third microphone today. But we're moving on up, guys.
That's right. Production value skyrocketing as the budget continues to just missile up into the world like the bottle rockets that I had in my hands on the 4th of July. We'll talk about that later.
That's why next time Nas is in Red Rocks with the Colorado Symphony,
that's right.
we might give away a trip because of this budget. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe a ticket, right?
Yeah.
When it happens again.
Absolutely. So continue to like, subscribe, and share because we're going to need every piece of ad revenue possible to make our promises come true.
Okay. So today we'll go into home field advantage. I think I'm going to talk a little bit about an agent experience. It's kind of a buyer seller experience as well, because in this situation, I ended up leading into a holiday, which is the 4th of July, I ended up having 7 sides that were supposed to close on the same day, which is July 2nd. Anytime you're leading into a holiday, especially that particular weekend, it's a very tough one because, and if you're a beginning realtor, you should know that when you have transactions closing around that time, whether it's before 4th of July or after 4th of July, there's going to be a lot of effect of pressure from people being gone from work.
Yes.
People are going on vacations. People are already on vacation and you didn't know it. Sometimes the lender is out of town. And of course, you'd have no way that they're on vacation too. So.
Yeah. Well, until you send an email and you get that automatic bounce back that says, hi, guys. I'm in Vermont for a week.
Yeah. So add that in to never build all of the closings on to the day, right? Well, it was the 2 days before 4th of July. And I didn't mean to do that. You know what? I avoided July 3rd because I know that's like Friday. That's like Mega Friday, crazy day, you know?
Yeah, that's the day that I left for my trip.
Yeah, everybody tries to squeeze them in, affected by vacation. So I aimed for contracts that I wrote for July 2nd. Well, I wrote mine like 2 months ago, 3 months ago. And then because some of them were long escrow periods. But then I had listings and other people wrote closings for July 2nd as well. So I ended up with mine that I wrote for July 2nd, and then other agents wrote closings for July 2nd. So I ended up, what it was 5 closings. You know, it's not that many, but then I also, it's a lot. I don't think I've ever had more than 3 closings in one day before. How about you?
No.
3 closings in 1 week is actually kind of crazy.
That's Vivian Kane type numbers.
It is. And she's everywhere, you know? She's still driving that Caprice?
No, but it's in the family.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
But when you have 3 closings in a week, like you're spending the whole 7 days leading up to that, gathering documents, making sure that everything is arranged the way it should be, doing final walkthroughs, picking up signs, you know, lock boxes, making sure keys are going where they're going. Well, I had 7 sides in one day. That means it was like, I don't know, 3 sellers and 4 buyers or something like that. So I had a lot of people to take care of. One of the sellers was me. So I was actually selling this house to my cousin, and the tenant moved out like 2 days before July 2nd. So then we had to figure out that everything was okay. My cousin had to be okay with the things that weren't okay. I had to have a contractor come in planning to fix those things. He's still doing stuff this week. Wow. I'm the seller. I got a lot of extra paperwork, you know, to fill out. My wife is signing stuff. We're an LLC, all this kind of stuff. Also had another one sold to my other cousin. So this could be the cousin squared day on July 2nd. You know, it's possible.
Oh, yeah.
My other young cousin was getting the grant, and she was buying a house that was also not finished because it had been being remodeled. And we talked about that a couple of times. That's a subject that we'll revisit. Not totally finished. We ended up on the Friday before the weekend having an electrician come in, doing an electrical inspection and planning for $9,400 of electrical work. And they did it. The guy came, I called the inspector and he came in. He came the very next day, did the bid, and we got the work lined up. Okay. And then I had
What do you get for $9,400 in electrical work?
Man,
I mean, I don't want to, I need to know.
It's expensive. Well, you get the top dollar electrician to come, with a very big staff so they can respond pretty quickly. But we got like a 200 amp panel. They had to redo the riser outside.
Wow.
They had to put in like a whole house surge protector. They also put in GFI breakers, which you would think would be overkill, but it's not necessarily. This is an old house built in 1930. So each of the bedrooms only had one outlet. So we pulled more wire up to the upstairs, and it turns out that they couldn't go up in the attic to connect to the wire. So I think they went outside and brought the electric in from the outside, and then eliminated some knob and tube in the basement. And my cousin still got a great deal. She paid $137 for it, and the appraisal was $147.
Look at my boy.
Seller even knew that, and he was still fine with it. We were agreeing to buy it for $132. And then we added in some of the repair costs for the seller picked up some of the repair costs.
So for our investors out there, if you get a house that has literally never been upgraded electrically and it's almost 100 years old, you could easily spend $10,000 getting it up to code.
Pulling wire and all that kind of stuff. You could have somebody do it for cheaper, probably. Again, we had the top of the line, top dollar electrician do that around here, and then others were just regular closings, But when you add all that stuff together, like I started probably 8 days ahead of time, just making sure that everything was in line. I had to make up like this special spreadsheet right here. Oh my gosh, look how good it looks.
Wow.
But it's a really long line of like the big pieces, like 10 or 12 big pieces of closings, like picking up deeds, making sure stuff's notarized, all that kind of, so I wouldn't miss any of that. And we got it done. The title company was pretty mad at me when it was over with. I was mad too, because I wasn't, I didn't
were you lucky enough to have all the closings with one title company?
Yeah.
No! Oh,
yeah, I think
lucky
so.
dog.
I think so. No,
Scrap this segment.
was.
That's easy. You camp out there, you hang out with them all day. You're like the honorary 8th member of the team, and you just hang out there all day as your checks get
At the end of the first closing, I was working through it the whole time on the computer, and I was like, "Hey, can I hang out when it's done?" And she's like, "There's the room is full." And I was like, "Yeah, I know. Isn't that me?" And she's like, "It is." Oh yeah, okay, now you can stay. So yeah, that's it was a lot, and I'm still tired today. I'm still dealing with some of that stuff. So yeah, that's an agent situation.
So maybe don't do that if you can avoid it out there, guys. Great payoff in one day, but it takes your brain in overtime. That's for sure.
It really does. I did want to talk about something else as well. We were talking about connecting with clients, like as an agent, like when you're out in the field. Let's say that you get a call from one of your listings.
There we go.
And they want to see it, and maybe even see another house, or maybe your house is under contract, and you're going to go meet them at a different house that's not your listing. And they get out of the car, and what do you say? Like, how do you make a connection with those folks?
I like to feel them out by starting with something that you should do is just a strong, warm, and friendly greeting, letting them know that I am in fact the person that was on the phone telling them to meet me here, and I am happy to see them and to assist them. And the focus for me at that point is still the house. But as we're going through the house, I try to say some observations based on, my own experience with houses, and how they respond to those observations kind of lets me know how seasoned they are when it comes to home construction, things to be looking for. If I tell them something about a guttering system and they seem to be surprised, then that lets me know that maybe they're on the lower level and they might appreciate those things. But if everything I'm throwing out there, they're saying, yeah, I know, or yeah, that's what I was thinking too, it's still building some rapport, but it also lets me know that I'm dealing with more of a seasoned person. And maybe it's just up to me to turn the lights on and let them do their thing. But at some point, I'm going to start asking questions about like, hey, are you guys from the area? And if you're not from the area, how did you get here? Or why are you here? And just asking people why they moved into the area is going to get you a pretty nice, fun story, because 9 times out of 10 is because of a man or a woman. It's usually romance, right? I'm from a small town, but I got here in Topeka because I was here for Washburn. I met the love of my life, and here she is. That's
so you're looking for the romance element, huh?
Oh, 100%.
Are you like a romance novel type of guy, like on the weekend, or soap operas?
Not yet, but okay. I could see myself leaning into that later on in life, truthfully. Right now I'm in my Gardner, white New Balance phase of my life, but I could see, I am a hopeless romantic. I do want you to understand that. So every one of these stories that I hear, it fulfills me inside, and it makes me believe more in humanity. That's for sure. And it's sad because a lot of times I'll ask these questions around their children, and I'm getting answers that the children never even thought to freaking ask.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're like, "What, Mom? That's really how you met Dad?" Like, yeah, brother. Like, she would have told her buddy no to going out to the to the wherever that night, and you wouldn't exist. Yeah, I'm Chris.
Wow. Okay. Well, so you're discovering family stories and making sure that everybody knows the history, huh?
Absolutely. And because, I love Topeka so much, and I know a lot of people, once we start talking about what they do and where they work around here, it's higher than a coin flip's chance that I'm going to know somebody from that area. Like I met some people yesterday who are 2 generations of teachers. 41 years of teaching from the mother, and she was with her daughter who was looking to buy a house, who has now been in the teaching field for 3 years. And they teach in the local school district that you were a part of, 501, right here in Topeka. And I asked them about a specific school administrator who I used to sell cars to. And it was like, oh, wow, you know him? Yeah, blah, blah, blah. And then we have a whole conversation about that person. So, making the world smaller is a big part of what I like to do. Letting them know that the connections that they have are connections that I have, and it makes them even more comfortable why continue looking for a different person? And not only do I got somebody that's polite, that knows what he's talking about, and knows some of the people that I know, what is there to look for? I want to do what I need to do to make them feel comfortable with seeing the next house with me once we adjourn this meeting.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's very sophisticated. That's the way it works. You know, it's you gain that trust. It's almost implied trust. When you guys know the same people, it's like, all right, well, yeah, he runs in that circle. He
wouldn't do me wrong if we both, if I could just tell on him.
Well, yeah,
right?
That's the thing is I could just tell this other person. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's really interesting. And you said like making the world small. Like I feel like when I'm meeting somebody, like I'm focusing on a lot of the same things that you are about the house. You know, we have to do that. We're showing our expertise. You know, one thing that. For some reason, my way a lot, I'm not the biggest fan of small talk, like coming from a podcast person, like, that's a little ironic, but I think I really like irony, or I like common threads of thought, or the idea that we like some of the same things, Yes. So I'll ask probing questions too, and as I pick up on details and hear about things that interest them, or even if it's like somebody got out of the car and he was wearing a jersey, nice. a baseball jersey, and it was it made me think. Well, when he mentioned where the jersey was from and that he just got back from Phoenix, and I said, well, that's a really nice jersey, and then he told me more about that, and then I ended up telling my own little jersey story, like that I have a basketball jersey. It's mine happens to be a throwback Paul Pierce jersey.
Okay,
that's very unique. It's got like a Boston Celtics. It's got a shamrock on the front.
Now you got it. Now listen, I hate to do this.
Yeah.
Boston's jerseys haven't really changed a ton since we've been alive.
Yeah.
So you have to be pretty sophisticated to know the difference between what is considered a current Boston Celtics jersey and what they were wearing 20 years ago, because not much of a difference, but still, I get what you're saying.
Oh, yeah.
Also throwback in the sense that the jersey itself is probably 20 years old.
Well, yeah. I mean, and
we don't throw nothing away.
I paid $20 for it, because I got it on eBay. I mean,
back then?
No, I probably bought it like 5 years ago.
Oh, so you okay?
That's the thing is the guy told me that he collects jerseys. So when he said I collect jerseys, then my first thought was, well, I have this jersey that I was going to wear this the other night because somebody told me about a Jason Kidd jersey, throwback jersey that I have, and he said that's my favorite of yours. I was like, oh, wait till I wear this Jason Kidd jersey, Paul Pierce jersey, the next time I see him. So anyway, that's just it's a really small thing. It might even be like golden retrievers, or like a certain type of furniture or something like that. So I don't know. I really like to talk about items, and that's not all, but the common threads of
Listen, man, for people out there who are thinking about getting into this field, or who are already in this field and maybe they struggle with building rapport. We're not trying to give you necessarily ideas on what you could talk about necessarily, but what it really comes down to is it starts, you got to care, right? He actually gives, this 5'7" Filipino man loves him some basketball. So when he saw this guy in an athletic jersey, it definitely lit something inside of him. And so why reach for something that you don't care about to try to build common ground? There's gonna be something that fires you up from the inside. Maybe like me, I used to sell cars. I met a brand new customer the other day, and I complimented him on his older Toyota Camry, and he proudly, and I mean proudly, and if I was him, I would have been just as proud, tells me that the car has 280,000 miles on it.
Wow.
And he's the second owner, and he's put most of those miles on there, and that thing looks like you could eat a hamburger on the hood of that car right now. He keeps it. You could tell that he's proud of it, and that he buys things to keep and keeps them as long as he possibly can. And that was something that was automatically admirable to me.
Yeah.
Because anybody can buy a brand new car and have it look shiny and good and be like, yeah, look how clean my stuff is.
Yeah.
Show me the person that kept something and made it shiny and good and kept it shiny and good the whole time. And sometimes it's not just items, it's things like friendships, marriages, things of that nature too.
Oh, for sure. Back to the romance.
Come on, man. So it takes, anybody can get something shiny and new, but can you keep it that way?
I mean, the thing is, it's kind of like quirks, like if you can discover what somebody's quirk is, and then you have the same quirk, and like you're looking for a common quirk,
yes.
And because that makes them feel unique, or they think about it a lot, or they have ideas that other people don't have about that.
Yes.
When you share those same ideas with them, then they believe there's a very strong connection between you guys, because they think, okay, he thinks the same way that I do, and we're going to get along in this, this home buying or home selling process. So, those are some of the ways that you connect with clients, guys. Yeah. What do you think about that?
I love it. And the last thing that I do, and you know this.
Let's hear it.
I'm pretty big on physical touch.
Oh, that's
you know
right.
that.
Yeah.
You've been assaulted by me many a time. Anybody's shoulder is not safe when they're dealing with me. And if I am really rocking with something that you're saying, the old claw comes out like liar, liar. Oh, you're scared of the claw.
The claw. Where did you get that, man? Who imparted that on you?
That's a great question. And it could just be how I was raised, physical touch, hugs, tickling, grabbing. That has always been something that's been part of me. And when I first meet you, I'm never going to go full blown claw on you. Mm-hmm. But I will do the subtle, once we have those moments of connection, just the shoulder touch, just the small tap on the back. Oh my gosh, is that crazy? And just that little, I'm telling you, it's not fake. It's not contrived or manipulative.
Sure.
It comes natural to me, but I know that it does something, because only people that you're familiar with are normally the ones who are going to reach out and touch you physically in real life. But I like to bridge that gap as soon as I feel the moment.
I think I'm going to start touching people this week.
I think you should.
A little bit more. Probably their hearts, definitely their minds.
Brother, be careful.
I'm not going to reach out.
Don't be reaching out at that chest.
You're right. Okay.
We're not going to.
We need to talk about this more off camera, probably. Yeah. All right. Well. Okay, maybe there's some science that goes along with it, Maybe there's some statistics that could help me with my touching. What do you think?
It's got to be.
Okay, well, that's a great segue into Homey-ology then,
That's right. Yeah, we got some statistics for y'all out there.
We do.
Absolutely.
We do. Oh, I'm going to have to pull them up on my phone, guys.
That's all right. Go ahead,
We were
baby.
talking about this before the show, trying to figure out what this means. Why we're trying to figure out what kind of market it is, and if there's a line in the market, like which segment is a seller's market and which segment is a balanced market, and what is a balanced market nowadays? Like over the past few years, we have been spoiled. We've been spoiled to where just about every house.
Sellers.
Yes.
Have been spoiled.
That's right. Because it's the totally opposite
we
for
do
buyers.
It all, but yes.
Ooh.
Sellers have been spoiled, and it has skewed the lines of what a balanced and seller's market is so much that I don't know if the original parameters that we had set for what a seller's and buyers and balanced market is, I'm not sure if they'll ever apply again. And I say that because, we're talking about the amount of houses that are available at any given time. That's really what decides seller's market, buyer's market, balanced market. In a seller's market, there aren't a lot of choices, which means the people who are selling have more power and leverage. And in a buyer's market, there are many, many choices of houses that are available, giving the buyers the advantage of saying, if you don't cave to my demands on this house, I'll go to another house where they will get my demands. So, and in a balanced market, there's just enough houses to where sellers have some leverage, but buyers have some leverage too. And in the past, 5 months, 6 months worth of inventory for any given segment was considered to be balanced. And anything under that, as far as supply is concerned, would be considered to be
approaching.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Approaching a seller's market.
Yes.
That's right. And anything higher than 5 or 6 months worth of inventory was approaching a buyer's market, if not a full-blown buyer's market. But we are now seeing certain price ranges in which I think we've talked about this too, right? once you get to the price range where most of the people buying the houses already have a house and a mortgage that they have to get rid of, things start to really taper off as far as how the heat, because these people are trading in sub 3% interest rates to sign up for something that could very well be over 7%. And so the people who just want to move, that's not making a lot of financial sense for them. And it may be an affordability issue easily just with the interest rates alone, let alone the principles of moving off of small interest rates to a larger one. So what I had postulated earlier, and I still believe is the core of the imbalance, is that if you've got a really low interest rate, the only way you're going to move to a higher one is if you absolutely have to. A job change, a divorce, a death in the family. I think those are the people who are still having to make these changes, but not necessarily because they absolutely want to. And then as you get higher and higher in the price range, we start dealing with people who do what they want when they want, regardless of the money. But it seems like right around 300 and up, it really tapers off as far as heat is concerned, you know?
Well, so we've been living in an environment where it was usually, under 1 month's supply even here in Topeka, Kansas. And we've gotten to where most of our segments are 1.2 months supply, something like that. And that is the case up until 300,000. And this is that other segment that Chris was talking about, is over 300,000. These are people that probably have a really nice mortgage at 3% or something, and they don't want to abandon it. When you get up above 300,000, the absorption rate is more like 2.7 or 3.3 or 3.2. And when I tell you, let me just tell you what 1.2 means. Okay, 1.2 months supply, which should be not very much supply compared to the demand. That means that right now there are 20 houses for sale between 250,000 and 300,000. 20 for sale. Okay. The number that are under contract, which probably sold in the last 30 to 45 days, is 38. So there are twice as many houses that sold in the past month than there are houses on the market. Okay. So that's a lot of houses sold compared to what's left. And then when you go to 300 to 350, there are also 20 houses on the market. Okay. But only 12 that have sold. So just not as much activity, not as many properties that have went under contract. That means for the amount of people that are out there shopping, probably, there are a lot of houses. There's 20 houses. A lot. That's actually pretty funny, really. Because
for a small price range,
yeah,
that is a lot of houses. For a $50,000 segment, that's a lot of houses to choose from. Not nearly what you would have experienced before I got my license in the old days, the real days.
And that's the difference.
Talk to me, Luke.
Yeah,
reel me in, because I'm over here. Ever since I've been in the game, the absorption rate has been at basically 1 month or less.
Yeah.
So I'm now starting to experience what life is like, where every single thing that you stick a sign in isn't just selling within a week. Well, but you've lived that. You were forged in that.
I lived it, and that's what I have for you is memories. Do I have real stats of what was available from 300 to 350,000? No, but what I can tell you is that when somebody wanted to go look for houses, when I got the call that we're going to go shopping, all right, well, I'm going to build your search, okay? So I'm going to build it for the things that you like, the numbers of garages and the numbers of bathrooms and all that. And so let's say that there are 100 or there's a lot of houses that come up. I'm filtering some out, right? So I filtered a bunch of houses out. And then I'm probably going to send you a long list. I'm probably going to send you, after I've filtered houses out, I might send you 40 houses or 60 houses.
No way.
It's too many.
That's real.
That's too many. I would probably filter more out even. I might go through and I might look at how many have been on the market for, 100 days or more. I might take all those out because I had to pare that list down, and then I had to send these people. I'd probably send them 20. I'd say, here are 20. You guys pick 6 or 8. And we're going to go out and look at 6 or 8 houses in one day. Then after that, we'll tell me the next ones. And then we'll go look at, and then if there's any that you guys like that aren't on my list, tell me those. So we would get to the point on a regular basis where we had looked at 20 houses. and they were tired at that point, and we didn't want to look at any more. And we had seen a couple that might fit the bill. It might have been over the course of 2 weeks, and then they pick one and we write an offer. So that's what was different about now. Now you send them all 20 that are on the market, and they don't want to look at any of them. You know, maybe they only want to look. I'll look at these 3. I don't want to look at any of the other ones, and it makes sense because some of them have been on the market for 100 days. 100. You told me that's a real thing, right?
Oh yeah.
You just saw there's a few houses out there. I mean, you don't have to substantiate it with how many.
Because I screenshotted a lot of them.
Oh, you can if you want to. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But that's the thing is, out of the 20 from 300 to 350, a buyer might only want to look at 3 or 4 of them. And then after they look at those 4, then they say, there's nothing that we like. And then we're just waiting. We're waiting for the next house to come on the market. And guess what? There's probably like 4 or 5 other couples out in the city that are waiting for the exact same house.
Well, between 275 and 375 right now, there are 18 houses that are at least 2 months on the market.
Okay.
Within $100,000 price range. That seems like a lot of houses to be available in recent years. It really does.
Well, and so you're saying, I mean, when you're talking about 275 to 375, probably because who you're working with, right?
But just do 3 to 4,
if you do 3 to 4, that's only 45 houses total. If you do 250 to 350, it's 40 houses total. So
almost half of them
are 100 days on the market.
Are at least 2 months.
2 months.
At least 2 months, which is still a lot of time. I mean, most selling agreements are only a few months at that. And just to substantiate what Luke was talking about on the buyer side in the past, I worked with Luke when it came to selling my own house years before I ever got licensed. And one thing that we got to do at that time when there were a lot of choices on the market is something that we don't really get to do anymore, which is instead of just sending me lists of comps that were comparable to my house, he actually took the time to show me houses that were for sale in my price range.
In person.
So we could smell and see the competition, and he could substantiate, well, this is why this house has been on the market for 100 days and is having a hard time. And this is why this house right here is probably going to sell within the week. And we got to see at least 5-10 different houses that really helped me realize that my house wasn't quite as bad as I thought it was. And I was in the area of getting to where I really needed to be if I made a few changes, which we did make some changes, and it worked out in a time where getting a offer within 1 week was a lot harder to do.
Oh yeah, we got an offer in a week back then, and we weren't even priced low. We were not. I don't price them low. Yeah, we broke the record.
Every piece of square footage that somebody had missed in the past. My boy was like, "No, I think it's wrong."
Man, that's a good memory, man. That. So okay, so we've talked a little bit about these stats. And we're talking about the difference between the market back then and what the market is now, and you mentioned before the idea of like maybe the definition of a balanced market needs to shift, because everybody's perception of what happens when you sell your house has shifted. Like you expect from your experience 8 years ago, you put your house on the market, you can sell it in 3 days, or in less than a week. That's what everybody's been doing for 3-4 years now, So if your house is on the market for 2 months or 3 months, that, maybe that's 90 days, right? That feels pretty bad now. It feels like, I don't know if I'm going to be able to sell this house, does that line up with a balanced market that a lot of people feel that? Right. Because that's what it used to be. It used to be that if you put your house on the market, there's a decent chance that it's not going to sell for what you want it to sell for.
First of all, yeah.
Maybe you didn't raise the condition high enough or something like that. But you're going to be keeping your house clean and having it listed for 60 days or 90 days. Now, also keep in mind that I became a realtor during the mortgage crisis. In 2007 to 2011, there was a lot of being on the market for a long time too. So I experienced the opposite of that. So I could be skewed a little bit in having experiences of houses being on the market for a long time, being an inexperienced agent, not being able to tell people and convince them what to do with certainty that these improvements are going to bring value. But that was the difference that we experienced at your place. I was just coming into my own. I was learning, knowing what you can fix in a house to sell it. And it was actually working out. Yeah. So
again, just came back from a conference. What are the acronym of that conference that you went to?
Could have been NAR, could have been Ninja, could have been. Right. I don't know. It
was somewhere you ended up with a book.
Oh yeah,
that told you exactly. It told you the return on investment on so many different improvements, and that'll be a subject for one of our future podcasts because long story short, you don't get 100% of the money that you put into these improvements on most of them.
Just to move on with our segments, in Full House, we talk about design trends a lot.
That's a perfect segue.
But what that did is that when we talked about like touring the houses that were on the market, when we went to put yours on the market, we saw those things that we saw a lot of things that were stopping houses from selling, right?
Yes.
It might be that now is like an even better climate for that.
To do the same thing.
Yeah. Yes. Those 20 houses that you were, 20 houses on the market for over 60 days. If it's not an imposition for those sellers, and usually it's not, usually they want people to come through and see them. It might be really good to take all of our agents through and look at what's wrong with these houses, and the ones that are really going to illustrate it for you are the ones that don't have something glaringly wrong with them, because when I look at that list, when you tell me, if I were to look down, I'd say, oh, probably has a bad, maybe it's a bad roof, maybe it's a bad foundation, maybe it's something. Yeah. But if we went to these houses and discovered that, hey, there's not a lot of things wrong with it. Yeah. What is it? Yeah. Is it a weird dining room? Is it the paint? Is it blue trim? Or you like blue trim?
We're going to talk about that. Is it a lack of updates over the years? Are we looking at a bunch of builder grade construction materials that function just fine, but are not in line with what people find to be valuable today?
Yeah. Because the thing is that without is it empirical evidence or is it just evidence when you see it in person? Like when you
No, you're right.
This is pretty close to empirical evidence because it's like very tested.
Yeah.
It's tested by the strongest seller's market that's not selling every single house. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you can't have a better laboratory condition with homes other than everything else sells. And if it doesn't, there's definitely something wrong. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It could be price. Yeah, it can be price too, but that is also related to condition. So anyway.
Well, let's talk about the recent remodel on a house that's near both of our homes.
Oh, yeah. We drive by it a lot. This is a house. It's
at one point, this house predated every home in the subdivisions around it.
It's like on the top of a hill. Yeah. It's an older home, but it's by a lake.
Yep. Established road. So, bigger yard, wider yard than everybody else back when land was cheap. 3-car garage attached to this 2-story home. Mm-hmm. And I had an opportunity to show a couple of investors this house. And the thing that before it is now on the market, remodeled, somebody else took that chance and now they're putting it on the market.
They were working on it for like a year or maybe 9 months,
6-7 months.
Okay. Anyway,
I probably drive a little bit more than you.
Okay.
But what scared me about this home was on the main level, we have kitchen, living room, dining room, and a full bathroom. Upstairs, the area where all of the bedrooms are, I think there's 3 bedrooms upstairs, and there is a half bathroom upstairs.
Huh.
Space. I don't know about you, but when I get out of the shower and I run up to my room, I don't want to have to go up or down a whole flight of stairs or by the dining room.
Yeah.
Or by the kitchen.
Right. It's odd.
It's odd. And so I told myself, well, we got to switch that. We need full bathroom by the bedroom.
Sure.
We need half bathroom for when you're entertaining guests on the main.
Right.
We already don't have a master ensuite situation in this. Mm-hmm. And the layout is not really giving the ability to make that happen in a way that's going to make sense money-wise. So that alone made me say...
Yeah.
I don't want anything to do with this house. The basement was non-finishable. It's old enough that you just don't want to finish it. Lower ceilings, limestone foundation. So I didn't think it was a deal. Now, with that said, as we're driving by it for the last 6 to 7, 8, 9 months, they're making this house look really damn good.
It looks good outside.
It shows very, very well. Which goes back to the idea that just simply paint alone has absolutely the best return on investment when it comes to home improvements.
They went with like a hunter green, didn't they? Like a hunter green, and then it has does it have black trim?
It's either black or a super dark slate green as the trim. So it's like hunter green and slate green or whatever, and it is not on our
That's
MLS.
right. It's not. It's in the Lawrence MLS,
which is weird.
I can't even look it up.
I know. Luckily, I remembered that. But yes, that is old Magruski's that got that one. And but it has now been on the market for a few weeks. It is still available. And while it looks sexy on the inside, and they didn't just go and grayify the whole thing like a lot of flippers have been doing.
Sure, yeah.
They gave it character, but they retained the original layout. It is still a main bathroom on the main, and it is still a half bathroom upstairs, and we'll see.
That right there, I mean, that's just one of those things that's, well, when I say weird or when I say strange, it's not like quirks, when you're trying to connect with people. Quirks in a house are things that you can't get past. They are those. And so I guess what you have upstairs then is like 3 bedrooms. Is it 3 or 4?
It's 3 upstairs.
So you can't even eliminate a bedroom and then turn it into a 3-bedroom and then get a primary bathroom and another bathroom. Because if you do that, then you only have a 2-bedroom, right? So, yeah, you just can't. So you're locked into that half bath up there unless you make one of those bedrooms a lot smaller, and that's a problem too.
And then a staircase goes up the center of the house. Mm-hmm. There weren't a lot of options upstairs for adding a second bathroom or even transforming the half into a full. There just wasn't. I couldn't see the vision, and whoever flipped it decided that they either didn't want to see the vision or thought they could just make it a better version of what it is. But there's a reason why layout desirability and things have changed over the years. It's because it's about function. And once you get to a certain style of function of a house, like a bathroom being decently close to the bedroom, you're not really asking a lot. Most houses understood that were built past 1945, 1950. But
otherwise, you end up sweating like me. You go down and take a shower, then you got to go up the stairs. I mean, that's a lot of exercise, guys. By the time I get up there, I'm dripping wet all over again.
He's already 100%
go back,
humidity.
Take another shower. It's just an endless cycle of showers. Yep. And so, okay, there's another part of that house too. Somebody told me, I didn't see this with my own eyes, but somebody said that they painted, which is also a design trend that I've seen on the internet, is painting a room a deep color, like the whole thing. Like you paint the ceiling, you paint the walls, you paint the trim, you paint it all the same color. I did not actually see that when I was looking at the TikTok that the realtor posted for that house, but I did see that they painted the trim like a deep blue. It's like deep but pastelish almost. I don't know what the color would be called, but the doors are also painted that color, and then I think the walls are not gray; they're like creamy or what, which is good because you combine blue with gray, then you end up with like a really blue area. Yep. So that was a good choice, I'd say. But I'm curious. Maybe that's one that we put on our tour that we are envisioning. So okay,
okay, I got the pictures up right here.
Oh yeah.
And it is very aqua.
Okay. Yeah.
But actually, the colors of the walls are kind of creamy. They're really.
Mm-hmm. And then the hardwood floors.
They redid those and they look great. I think this is cute, man. I'm just gonna. I don't believe that the bold choice here is their problem.
Here's the thing. I'm a blue guy, dude. Like I like blue.
La ba dee da ba da.
Yeah, oh blah da. Yeah, I like that. But
wrong song. But I
really?
love you. Yeah, we can edit that out. Yeah.
I was going La Blamba. Oh boy, man, whatever, dude. I had a room, my first house, I painted the living room navy blue. I loved it, dude. Ceilings were cream colored. Nobody liked it. Only I liked it, you know? So, like, I'm into blue, man. And you, one of the houses you flipped, you painted the outside blue, didn't you?
I sure did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I went over there. I was like, dude, a blue house doesn't sell. What happened next? Sold.
Yeah. But guess what? Then the next people kept it for a year and a half, 2 years, sold it for even more money. And the next person that bought it immediately painted it something else. That's when I learned buying and holding has some real value. You don't get that money immediately, but when you do finally decide to turn it in, you'll get more. I couldn't believe, and they were just they couldn't wait to sell all the stuff that we did in that house. Look at this and look at this. And I'm like, man, I built that value.
You opened up the floor plan in there. I remember that. Yeah.
It was the largest piece of granite that the installers had ever held in their hand.
Dang.
Ever. That's how big this island was. It was massive. You could do a lot of stuff on that island, okay?
We're in the house party segment. That's totally appropriate. You can say that right now, you know? I mean, what an experience over there, you know? That was like a 1960s or 70s ranch, and then the walls just came out in the middle, and that thing was just a whole big open living room, kitchen, dining room concept, right?
That was, yeah.
Do you know the numbers? Flip. What you sold it for? What'd you buy it for? What'd you sell it for? And what'd they sell it for?
I got it for we got it for 90. Older folks had lived in the house for years, never upgraded it, and then somebody passed away. Got it for 90. Probably put $40,000 or $50,000 into it, and then turned around and sold it for $175,000. And then, like I said, maybe a year and a half later, it sells for $215,000. And so then in my head, I'm thinking, okay, had I just kept this as a rental, had I kept it as anything, had I did nothing to it at all but just paid the damn bills of holding it and then waited. Obviously this was during a time where appreciation was abnormal.
Yeah, you wouldn't have known that.
Instead of 2 to 3%, it was more like 10 to 12%. For a couple of years. I wouldn't have known that. But
the house party section is supposed to be funny, man. The only way we can. They sold it for $45,000 more.
It'd be cool to have that money.
That's how you got to deal with stuff like that. You know,
we learn.
Well, we do. We learn. Neil, you're here learning with these people. You know, what do you think how should we bring it home, man? How do we score this run over the home plate in the home stretch?
Yeah.
What do you want to hear?
Any
more
corrections?
about?
Anything that you need more clarification on?
Correct my whole segment from earlier, man. My whole 7 sides. Come on, I was off my groove, guys. Correct that. What else, Neil?
I don't have any corrections, but I have a topic that is near to me. So right now we're in the full swing of summer. What do a lot of people have going in their yards? Home gardens. What are your guys' thoughts on home gardens? Do you have one? Okay. You grow your own vegetables?
I do. I have one.
That's incredible. What do you grow?
You're a grass guy. Well, I go to a guy. I have a plant guy. And then I go to him and I find out what plants he has. This time he had 3 different kinds of cucumbers. Okay. So I got the big one, and then I got the little English one or something. And then I have some kind of a lemon cucumber it's like a circle lemon. I don't know if it tastes like that or not because I haven't gotten one off of there. Really easy. I just popped it in the ground. And then also 3 different kinds of tomatoes that I got from this guy. And I've learned some stuff from him, like when you plant the tomato, you plant it on its side, kind of. That way there's a bunch of the roots under the ground and the actual stalk.
So that's funny you say that because I actually, believe it or not, because I am a YouTube addict, I just came across a video that tested 3 different planting methods for tomatoes.
Tell me.
One being the normal, just stick it in there regular.
Yeah.
The other one being you bury the stalk halfway. Then let it come up so that way more root nodes can come off of it.
Okay.
And then the other one was, I forgot. I truly forgot.
Not a good one. It wasn't good.
Not have worked,
Number 3 was a bust. Which one did they say is best?
Truthfully, the root mass on every last one of them was pretty close, man. There was some, actually, there was no real difference. There was some wisdom about it. You're not going to hurt yourself by trying to do that.
Yeah.
But the other one, because it started higher, it remained higher.
Yeah, dude. Maybe that's why. Because, dude, I'm not a tall guy, man. You know, I can't be picking tomatoes on a ladder in my yard. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to be embarrassing.
Oh, come on, man. Now, if it was an apple tree, we'd be giving you grace
But
about
seriously,
this.
those tomatoes are like this tall now. They've probably been in the ground like 4 weeks, you know. Maybe the ground is really good because it's kind of like near a drainage area where sometimes the water will come up there.
Yeah.
So it's probably like very fertile. It's like a river bottom ground. Oh, you know?
This guy here. This
I'm not doing anything, dude. This stuff is flourishing. We also got like 16 strawberry plants from her grandma. And I borrowed a this guy, I thought we called it a tiller, but he calls it a ground scraper.
Okay.
This thing was like, vroom, 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 vroom. It was like bouncing up and down off the ground.
Okay.
And I just did like two 8 by 10 or 8 by, I don't know, something like that. 2 little patches. So I guess I'll just bring you guys some vegetables next time.
Yeah. So he's at where I'm trying to get to. That's just a long story short. Dude, I want to get there, but I'm not there. I want to get my own landscaping completely tightened down. And then that'll be the next step is to build a very small garden.
You're going to get a lot of pleasure out of farming like I do.
Yes.
You know, I'm basically a farmer.
At heart, yeah. And you probably come from a long line of farmers as well.
The bushels and bushels that I plan to harvest from my farm will be impressive. Yeah.
Okay.
And I do come from farmers. Both both of my parents were farmers in some respect.
So you guys have evolved to be close to the ground. There's a reason for your lack of height. I get it. It's really more of a function of what you do.
It makes me better.
The taller you are, the more you have to bend, the harder it is on your knees.
And I plan to, pass that on to my children.
They're so happy about that.
All right.
Dude, it's just good to connect with you again and to see you. You're a busy guy selling 7 houses in one freaking day. So anytime I get to have a whole hour to myself, it's nice.
I appreciate it. It's really good to see you too, man. You know, like I missed you like the past few times. Walked by you in the hall, still busy. Hadn't talked to you.
I know we're looking at you.
And I really kind of felt bad about it. And you were on vacation though. I was really happy for you there. We texted a little bit about... We texted about something that was
probably real estate.
Yeah, I'm sure it was. So, but, don't worry, guys. The homeboys, we're staying in line. We're staying online.
That's right.
And our boy Neil over here is taking care of everything for us.
That's right.
Yeah,
every day.
You guys keep coming back and hanging
with the homeboys.
We'll see you later.
See ya.